Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Jonathan and I look at tech companies for investors. And today I'm going to be having a look at Square Inc. I'm going to give a kind of brief explanation about what it offers. Then I'm going to have a look at its revenue for the past year, or as up-to-date revenue as I can find. Then I'll kind of give my final thoughts on it and see whether it's a good investment or not. Now, please bear in mind that this is not investing advice. Don't base any buying or selling decisions on the content of this video. Please do extensive research before you buy any company. Saying that though, if you do enjoy this video and you do find the information in it helpful, I would really appreciate it if you hit that like button. Now, let's try and give a kind of brief explanation about what Square offers. So Square offers two main sections of products. It has hardware products and software products. The hardware products are the physical products. The software products are more kind of code and the kind of stuff you wouldn't see. So where you have the hardware that is the computer, the software is what runs the computer. That's the kind of non-technical explanation in terms of how computers work. But more specifically, Square focuses on kind of financial transaction technology and utilizing kind of everyday devices to process financial transactions. As we move more towards a kind of cashless society, less and less people are carrying cash, which means more and more companies need to be able to handle payment by cards or, well, like smartphones like Apple Pay, and I think Samsung has like Samsung Pay, or Android has a version of that. But yes, they have to be able to process transactions without cash. And for them to do that, they have to have some form of technology, both hardware and software to do that. And that's where Square comes in. It allows companies to, rather than having to buy specific technology to process the payment, they can use handheld devices like Apple devices or Android devices, everyday devices that people carry. Now, you've probably seen this device. If you've ever went into a restaurant, you will see that the person or the waiter who's serving you might not actually have a specific device for processing a transaction. They might just use a phone. Square specializes in the technology that allows, well, you to do that, to be able to pay and someone to be able to process it with a mobile phone or a mobile device. And that's it really. Square just makes money through selling small pieces of attachments that you can add to your phone so that you can process payments. And also they charge per transaction that's made, so they can make money through when people use their service, which is quite smart actually. Most people have a smart device. They have either an Apple phone or a phone that runs on Android. So if they can use that to process payments, without actually having to buy a brand new specific purpose payment processing machine, they're probably going to take advantage of it. Now, Square isn't the only online processing company that really deals with online payments. You also have companies like PayPal. But what kind of stands out from Square and PayPal is the fact that PayPal is kind of more known for person-to-person transfers, whereas Square is a little bit more specifically aimed towards business to customer payments. Not necessarily business to customer, customers to business. Now, when you're dealing with customer to business payment, there is a lot more complexity with that. And that's why kind of Square is a little bit more specifically aimed towards that, because it kind of separates them from PayPal in that sense. Square offers tools and services that make it a bit easier for businesses to manage and organize the online transactions. So they can do things like payroll easier. They can also kind of manage receipts a bit easier. That's kind of Square's niche. But I think that's probably as clear an explanation as I can give without going a bit too into the technical side of things. Here we have their information on Yahoo Finance. Now, currently it's trading around $212 to, well, $210 plus per share. Now, you can see this graph shows their kind of max lifetime from about November 2015 to now. Now, you can see they've actually shown some pretty impressive growth over the past year or so. They're in a dip just now. They have a 52-week range of $32 to $283. Their market cap is sitting around 96.3 billion. Their price per earnings is quite high of $482 per every dollar in revenue. And their earnings per share are also, well, they're both kind of related. Not that good, of like 44 cents per share. So just to give you a little bit of comparison, here you have PayPal, which is kind of their closest competitor in that sense, or their biggest competitor. Now, they actually have a price per earnings ratio of a lot better, of 66. Their earnings per share are $3.54, and they have a market cap of 274 billion. Their 52-week range has been $82 to $309. And if you look at it over the lifetime, comparatively, they are very similar, and they have both shown quite good growth. Now, kind of relative to this, it looks like PayPal has some slightly better stats, but PayPal is for another video probably later on. Right now I just want to focus on Square, but I figured it would probably be fair to you to show you the kind of main competition and how their kind of price compares. But let's actually go and have a look at the revenue of Square. Here we have their 10K form for 2020. A quick look at this. We started Square in February 2009 to enable businesses' sellers to accept card payments, an important capability that was previously inaccessible to many businesses. Square offers a cohesive commerce ecosystem that helps our sellers start, run, and grow their businesses. We combine software, hardware, and financial services to create products and services that are cohesive, fast, self-serve, and elegant. Here's a list of the software that they offer. So you have Square Point of Sale, Square Appointments, Square for Retail, and Square Restaurants. If you want to read a little bit more into this, you can just pause this video and have a look. You also have Square Online Checkout, Square Invoices, Square Virtual Terminal, Square Team Management, Square Contracts, Square Loyalty. Okay, so there is quite a few. Oh, well, they also have a Payments API and a Commerce API. Now that's actually quite important for people developing their own dashboards, and that's quite cool. Then you also have their hardware, Mag Strip Reader, contactless and chip reader, Square Stand, Square Register, Square Terminal. Financial services, Managed Payments Risk Manager, Instant Transfer, Square Card, Square Capital, Square Payroll. Looking at their competition, you have pen and paper, manual process, and paper currency. So paper currency is the enemy. Business software providers such as those that provide point of sale, website building, inventory management, analytics, customer relationship management, invoicing, and appointment booking solutions. The only kind of example I can think of the top of my head of that would be something like Shopify. Payment terminal vendors, merchant acquirers, banks that provide payment processing, loans, and payroll. And then if we go further down, we also have payroll processors, established or new alternative lenders. Most of the other stuff of this is a lot to do with kind of legal. They do work in the financial industry, so there is quite a lot of legislation that they are susceptible to and things that could potentially hinder them. Another thing that has probably hindered them quite a lot is also to do with the fact that during 2020, there wasn't a huge amount of people that were doing sales at kind of point of contact. People were buying more online, and Square specializes in kind of more kind of businesses being able to sell firsthand to customers. So Corona could have had quite a big impact on them. Here it just says that they will most likely never give a dividend. So if you are looking for a dividend from them, then I wouldn't really be too hopeful. Here we have a kind of quite thorough breakdown of each quarter from March 31st, 2019 to December 31st, 2020. And if you actually kind of look, focusing on the total net revenue, they've shown quite substantial increases from that time, and they have steadily been increasing. Now, if you look at the cost of revenue, obviously that's also been kind of going up, but they are transaction based. So they have costs that scale pretty much as their revenue scales. Now, what's also nice to look at is they have been quite heavily investing in product development, sales and marketing, and their general and administrative costs have increased, but not the same level as how their sales and marketing and product development has been increasing. Their sales and marketing went from 154 million to 253 million, comparing March 31st to December 31st, or the quarters of those. And their sales and marketing went from 133.7 million to 328. So they are pushing quite heavily in terms of sales and marketing. Whereas when you look at their general and administrative costs, they only increased over those 2 years, comparing the quarters, from 100 million to 159. So they are investing quite heavily in sales and marketing and product development, which for a tech company is very important, especially for a tech company that is facing quite heavy competition. And Square is facing quite heavy competition. Now, if you add up all of their operating income for 2020, they posted a loss of around 18.815 million, which isn't actually that bad. It's not bad, but it's not great either. And my final thoughts on Square as a company and with the products that it offers, it's actually quite cool and really interesting, because businesses can use devices that they probably already own to process transactions from their customers. And that's really valuable. But as an investment, I think for what it is and what it offers right now is highly overpriced. More to do with the fact that it could face very stiff competition in the future, because the products and the services that it offers are quite easily replicated. Financial and transaction technology is highly, highly profitable for companies. And the bigger companies are kind of starting to realize that. You have things like Apple Pay and Samsung Pay, and then PayPal has already been in that industry for years, and it is kind of a well-known brand. And as these bigger companies move in, they kind of squash everything in their way. So all it takes is one of these better, more well-known brands to create a similar product to what Square offers, but it has the brand behind it and the trust of the customers instantly. Square is a good company, and it has all the indications of really good growth and growth potential. My main concern is the fact that it might not be unique forever. And for the price that it is just now, it's a really high risk. So I hope you found this video enjoyable. And if you did like the video, remember and hit that like button. Also, if you do like the content of this channel, please consider subscribing. I do hope you have enjoyed. Thank you very much, and I will see you next time.